This is the final resting place. These guys didn't make it. This has a special story for me, this grave. Harold Busby and I were in parachute school together in Fort Benning. We sailed over to Africa together. We have joined the 82nd together, and we were in the 504th Parachute Regiment together. We fought all through Italy and through the mountains of Italy. We fought through Anzio. We were close buddies. When we were assembled back at the dike in Holland, remember what I said? We were waiting for the boats. We didn't know what was up. And I told you everybody was making their farewells and their peace and so on. We gathered in small groups and huddled together and discussed it. But realistically speaking, I didn't think anybody'd make it out across there alive. I didn't think so. I wonder even today. Anyway, Pappy Busby was an I company. I was the other company besides H. He was an officer, he was a platoon leader. And while Rivers and I were congregated and saying, you know, if we make it, go and see our mothers, and Pappy Busby comes over they were down the dike a little further from us. And he come up to me and he came up and he looked at me and he says, Maggie, he says, I don't think I want to make it today. And I looked at him and I said, oh, come on now, Pappy. I said, you know, every time we went into a combat mission, whether it was in the mountains of Italy, it was at Anzio or wherever, we had casualties. It was a war. We expected it. But I said, Pappy, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. That's ridiculous. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I looked at him now. I'm telling you this. I looked at him and I forgot. He was shaking. His face was discolored. And nothing I could say to him could dissuade him from the fact that he wasn't going to make it. This fellow here, a buddy of mine. Anyway, he went back to I Company. He was in another boat for me, and we get in our boats that we come across, and he made it across the river. But when he got to the other side, machine gun cut him down. I never saw him again, ever. Though he was a buddy. And the war continued and went on, and we went on into Berlin, and I never saw him again till I came here to this cemetery. And I stood here. 60-some years later. It's a remembrance of a buddy, like you go to the cemetery and your family and you pay your respects. Well, it's kind of the same thing, but it has a broader meaning. And this is the one that I want to portray to you. As I've said this before, be proud that you're an American. You look at this place, and this is beautifully kept up. Perfect alignment. These stones are polished. The grass is kept. There are 8,301 Americans here. You can be proud of that. These are the men that fought for those things we believe in. By the same token, I want you to understand that all those freedoms we enjoy and the liberties that we take for granted, and our children and our grandchildren, weren't free. Guys like Pappy Busby here and others that you'll see in John Rigopolis and all over, you'll see 504, most killed in the Wall River crossing. So when you go back home, I want you to know and tell those kids over there what they enjoy and so on is what we fought for, but that somebody paid a price for it that most of the time we're not really aware of. We honor our veterans and Veterans Day, but not like, say, the Dutch do. There's 8,301 graves here on the Memorial Day. There were 1,000 Dutch children here with flowers taking care of these graves, just like they do where we're at. I was with John at the time, but he crossed in the first wave with us. And I don't believe he was in my boat. But it made no difference because once we got on the shore, we had no unit integrity. I couldn't assemble anybody. The Germans were laying it on us. And all we had to do was just charge like madmen in that dike. Well, John was over to my right with others, and he was near Albert Tarbell, who just recently died. And Albert wrote me the account because I think he was with John, and he was a good friend. We knew John very well. And he wrote me the account as I'll repeat it, I think I told you this before. And when he started to cross and they opened up at us from the dike, he got a thumb shot off. And he held it up and he said, I got a Purple Heart. Well, telling Catherine, he got a second one. When you're KIA, everybody's here KIA, Purple Heart goes with it. It's for wounded in action. Well, this is mortally wounded, it's even worse. And so, well, I wasn't there, but at some point, I took one of his dog tags off of him because I had a special affinity for John, and Catherine has it. And in any event, I never saw John again, ever, obviously. We moved on, the war was on. This was only our second day in Holland. We fought in Holland for 58 days, and right after that, 62 days in the Battle of the Bulge, and on and on. And we suffered many casualties along the line, and we have bodies laid all at rest everywhere. But for us, this place has a special meaning because they didn't make it back, and they paid the ultimate price, and they were our buddies. We'll never forget them, and we don't want Americans ever to forget our servicemen and what they've done. So it has special meaning. And what I said, I mean, just tell you that John, I remember him, he was a good-looking young guy. He had a good smile. He's a friendly fellow and all that. I always remember him that way. And but here we rest. And one final thing I want to say is that we knew it was danger, but there's a certain dignity associated with it. And John was one of them.